This is episode 271 of How About That Cigar, recorded live at the Corona Cigar Studio. On this episode, we talk to Nick Melillo about Foundation Cigars and much more. Please take a minute to subscribe on your favorite podcast platform so you never miss an episode. Now on with the show.
Corona Cigar Company is your one-stop shop for all your cigar needs. Whether that's a brand new humidor, a box of those new cigars you've been waiting for, a top-of-the-line cutter or lighter, a place to enjoy the finest cigars and spirits with friends, or the only cigars grown right here in the Sunshine State, we've got you covered. Come visit one of our retail locations for the ultimate cigar experience. Visit us online at coronacigar.com.
How about that cigar?
How about that cigar?
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Corona Cigar Studios for episode 271 of How About That Cigar Live. Thank you so much for joining us live on Facebook, live on YouTube, live on Instagram, and live on
Rumble.
So grateful to have you guys with us. And of course, if you're listening after the fact on the audio podcast, thank you so much for making How About That Cigar part of your regular audio podcast rotation. If you would please, it helps us out so much. Click on all of the big, beautiful buttons, the like button, the subscribe button, the follow button, whatever it is you need to do to continue following what we have going on here at How About That Cigar.
Them all.
Smash all the buttons. Don't smash them too hard, though. Don't injure
smash
yourself.
delete, though.
Yeah, don't hit
we
the
don't want to do
delete
that
button. So I'm really sorry about your team. I mean, genuinely, the Jets just don't deserve what they've gotten.
Yeah, your buddy is a cancer, and I wish he would not come back. I wish he would never play football again.
Okay, now I agree with you that I think Rodgers is the problem, but I've seen some people on social media saying that it's the Jets that ruined Rodgers, not the other way around. I think that's horseshit. I just don't see any evidence for that.
I will say one thing. It seems like the Jets are cursed.
Yeah, I'm not a big curse guy, especially when it comes to like sports, because think about it this way, the source of curses, like if a curse is a real thing, what's the source of a curse? Well, that would be some metaphysical being like God or the universe or whatever you want to say, right? God's too busy to worry about a curse on a football team. That's how I feel. It's like it's just a bad run. And sometimes a bad run lasts 3 years, and sometimes a bad run lasts 103 years.
50
years. Yeah, I mean, look at the Cubs. Look at how long the Cubs had to wait,
Some exciting games this weekend in football, though.
There were exciting games. That Buffalo and Rams game was so fun to watch.
He's so amazing.
Josh Allen. Josh Allen's ridiculous.
And then the Rams, they played the Vikings amazing, and then they played Buffalo amazing. But they lose to like shitty teams. It's almost like they play down to shitty teams and they play up to good teams. It's just.
Well, and the Vikings game was fun to watch.
Sam Darnold,
Darnold is he's proof that it's just he feels like another Kurt Warner, like you can get another chance, and make something out of it.
I'm hoping that he stays in Minnesota for another year, signs not a huge contract, but maybe 25-30 million.
Yeah,
stays here. Gives JJ another year to grow and learn the system actually when he's healthy. Yeah.
Well, the Packers lost to the Lions, which we talked about last week. I was expecting. I didn't think the Packers were going to do because the Lions are just so flipping good this season.
My goodness.
But I was surprised that the Packers kept it close. They lost by a last-second field goal. It's still a loss, though. The Packers needed to win that game, and it's still a loss. But I was surprised that the Lions didn't win by 17.
The Packers are 9-3 now, right?
Yeah.
And they're in third place in our division.
Yeah.
But they could be first place in two other divisions.
Oh, yeah.
That's crazy, ain't it?
Yeah. It's kind of bonkers to see how
7-6 in the West, and
How good the
South
NFC North
is what
is.
7-6 too. The
yeah, I think so.
leaders.
Yeah. But Green Bay probably still is in good shape for a wild card spot, but
Oh,
we
for
just
sure.
have to wait and see.
I don't think they're going to be fine.
Yeah,
Okay.
we have to wait and see. But
We'll send 3 teams to the playoffs.
how
the
crazy
North,
is that too? I love it.
And thanks for
Um,
not bringing up. Don't do it.
To bring up, I honestly don't know what
okay,
you're talking
good.
about. Okay. The Minnesota Wild still looking very good on the ice. And the Timberwolves are still looking a little rough. Better than a little bit of an upswing, but not, they still have a lot of work to do. So
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll have to wait and see.
And then I want to give a shout out to our boy from Espinosa, Hector.
Oh yeah. What's up with Hector?
His team signed Soda
Yeah.
to $1 bajillion
Yeah. It's $770 million.
for 15 years.
So we're basically saying that in our lifetime, the first $1 billion player sports contract is going to be signed in our lifetime. That's insane. And I know it's a long-term contract. 16 years is a long time. But $770 million.
I'm actually, it's a double-edged sword. I'm happy that the Yankees didn't sign him because they can go sign a couple pitchers. They need another ace. They can actually sign some infielders that know how to play defense. You know, that would have been a chunk of change going straight towards offense. But
Yeah.
good luck, Mets.
Real quick, before we get to Spirit of Mystery, I want to let everybody know who's watching right now that we are going to be giving away some very cool stuff this evening.
What is that?
We'll talk about that in a minute, but there is going to be a cool giveaway. So be ready for that in the comments because we're going to need your comments for that. And don't be stingy. This is Christmas time. So we want
That's
as
right.
many people as possible to have a chance to win. So share this out to your favorite Facebook cigar group, share it out with your friends and let everybody get in the comments and get watching so that we can get as many people as possible a chance to win a very, very cool prize this evening. So let's jump into this week's Spirit of Mystery, brought to us by Postania Cigars. Do you find yourself unsatisfied with the top 10 list from How About That Cigar? Are you wondering how cigars from Postania didn't make the HBTC list, but found their way onto other lists? Well, fortunately, you can be reminded every week with this Postania Cigars advertisement. Postania Cigars, the #1 unranked cigar in the industry. All right.
So-
I believe we're continuing.
Yes, that is a rum.
We're
It is a
getting,
9-year-old rum.
9-year-old.
I think it's 9.
Okay.
I forgot to take a picture of it, so I'm gonna have to-
Great aroma on this rum.
So when I was pouring that for you today, I had a little accident, and it spilled a little bit, probably about 2 ounces.
Oh, 2 ounces. That's a big spill.
Yeah. And when I was trying to clean it up, my daughter's like, "Dad, what's that smell?" I'm like, "It smells like maple and brown sugar." What do you mean?
That is
It's a
what it
great
smells like.
smell.
And the color, super deep color on this pour. So here we go.
Oh yeah. If it tastes anything like it smells, it's
Oh.
gonna be phenomenal.
A lot of sweetness on this one, but
It's not flavored.
it is
Okay.
flavored. It definitely is flavored.
Yeah, with rum.
No, there's something else going on there, but it's not. I'm saying it's not. It tastes good. It tastes good. It doesn't taste like somebody just like poured in drops of like chemical flavorings. It tastes like it was finished in a cask that had something else in it, but not. I'll talk about it later. But yeah, you were right about the maple. There's a lot of that, but it's still got just a little bit of a kick to it, and really super smooth, good texture. So I like that one. We will reveal that one later in the show. Now, let's get our special guest on the show. And as always, on How About That Cigar Live, special guest brought to us by Drew Estate. And Drew Estate announced a new member of the Deadwood line of cigars, the Girl with No Name Lonsdale. This new cigar features a wrapper leaf from Mexico in a slim and elegant 7x44 Lonsdale format that promises a slow burn and nuanced smoking experience. The Deadwood Girl with No Name Lonsdale is presented in 20-count boxes with an MSRP of $11 per cigar and is shipping now to Drew Estate retail partners. For more information, please visit drewestate.com. All right, ladies and gentlemen, if you would please put your hands together and help us out. Welcome to episode 271 of How About That Cigar Live from Foundation Cigar Company. Nick Melillo, brother, welcome back to the show.
Gentlemen, good to be here. Good to be here.
Such a pleasure to have you with us again, brother. It has been.
It's my pleasure, guys.
Been
I think we got Jay Davis out in the audience there. He's always lurking.
Jay Davis is out there. We got some of our regulars, David, and we got Lee Marsh from Stolen Throne Cigars. We got Tom Darling.
Lee, what up, Lee?
So great to see some of our wonderful friends out there in the comments. So yeah, Nick, brother, it's been a minute. So thanks for being on the show, man, and we just can't wait to get jump into some fun topics this evening.
How long has it been? A couple years? 3 years?
Well, so here's the
2
thing:
years?
the last time you were on this show isn't actually the last time that I interviewed you on a show. So we did the thing with Smoke Inn's KMA one Saturday morning where they did a thing for like 6 months where they had different cigar podcasters fill in to host their show for them. Yeah. And so there was this one time, I want to say it was probably about a year and a half ago that Garrett and I, when Garrett was still the co-host of How About That Cigar, we interviewed you, but we interviewed you on KMA Talk Radio.
Gotcha. And that was it.
And the time before that you were last on this show on How About That Cigar Live, I'm pretty sure it was like 2 years ago. Yeah. So other than trade show interviews, this is the first time we've had a chance to sit down and chat. So
needless to say, this is my first time interviewing it, and I'm honored, and I'm so pumped to have you on the show, brother.
Raúl, el gusto es mío, loco.
And I love this shirt.
It's a good one, man. It's a good one. I got my shirt.
Yeah, we love that, baby.
Oh, brother, to see anybody wear the Burn Cigars Not Bridges shirt is just, it warms our hearts.
It's awesome.
Absolutely love it, brother.
You know, it's a good one because people actually, when I'm walking down the streets, you can see them trying to read it.
Yeah. Did anybody ask you about it?
There was one guy I was waiting in line. He's a cigar smoker.
Nice.
This was a while ago. I think I was waiting in line for some pizza.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Starting to look like a pizza.
Nick, what are you smoking with us this evening?
I'm smoking the new Wise Man Maduro Robusto, actually.
Nice.
Yes.
Very nice.
What are you consuming?
I am consuming, I saw you guys pouring a drink, and I poured some Rabbit Hole. You ever have this? This is my first time.
Rabbit, is it the original Rabbit Hole or is it the Derringer?
I believe it's the original, yes.
Oh, okay.
There we go.
Oh, yeah. Oh, Cave Hill. Okay, so that's
different. I'm not familiar with them.
It's a little bit, that's like one of their higher levels that's got a little more age on it. I've enjoyed most of the Rabbit Hole products that I've tried.
It's nice because I felt a little, wasn't feeling too well today, so little bourbon helped kick that cold there, maybe.
That's right. A little snort never hurt anybody. Well,
it hurt me.
Yeah.
It drive me goofy. I'm smoking this beauty.
What do you smoke? Oh, yeah. Oh, that's got a little age on it, no?
Yeah. Yes, it does, sir. It's phenomenal.
Matt, what are you smoking?
I am about to fire up. Oh, sorry. I always screw that up. I'm going to fire up come on. Help me out.
The Axum.
The Axum. The
Axum Robusto?
Yeah, Robusto.
Let me tell you, that Axum Robusto is something else. Have you had one before?
This is going to be my first time firing this baby up.
That's of recent that I keep my cigar bands on my desk. I have one of those kind of see-through tops on my desk, and I can stick bands in between them. And most of them are right now Axum Maduro, also Wise Man Corojo. Also, that's one of my favorite. And that size is for some reason I really enjoy.
Well, I'm going to get it fired up right now on the Zycar Toast Cam. Zycar is the leading cigar accessory brand with innovative butane lighters, precision cigar cutting instruments, travel cases, and humidors. Each product is designed and manufactured with the utmost precision and attention to detail. The result is a range of products that exude quality and refinement, reflecting the brand's dedication to excellence. For more information, please visit zycar.com. Man, the multitasking is on point today with the toast cam and the. I didn't char the shit out of the cigar. I actually toasted it well today.
You guys got quite the production here.
I'm feeling good.
This is unbelievable.
I'm gonna smoke the Corojo next because I almost done with that one.
You smoking the double Corona?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Let me tell you, double Corona, man. We sell a lot of double Coronas.
That's
especially
a lot
Tabernacle,
of people,
Olmec, double Corona. That Wise Man double Corona is probably one of my favorite. If I have the time, I'll smoke Robustos. You know, if I have kind of less time, but the double Corona, if I have the time, all day.
Yeah, that's one of my things.
All
is
day.
I like long cigars, but I'm impatient. So I have to really focus on a long cigar, and I have to carve out the time to really sit and enjoy it all the way through, because I'm such a like short cigar guy, like
you are
Robustos, Corona Gordas, that kind of thing. And then, but yeah, when I carve out a time for a big long cigar like a double Corona, that's usually a special moment. It's like, all right, this is just my time to just chill and reflect and whatever.
That's it. That's
Sorry.
it. Get a nice book. Yes, sir.
Honey, if you're watching, send me a picture of that rum. I forgot to take a picture of the rum I gave you today.
Oh, well, that's all right.
I know, but
that's all right.
She's watching, so.
Oh, yeah.
So let's not say anything too naughty. All right. So let's dive in. I'm going to start. I want to start out with the question I kind of hinted towards earlier.
Okay.
The swag is phenomenal. The hat you're wearing is phenomenal. I have one of those at home. How do you feel about the swag game? Is it a necessary evil or
is it enjoyable?
Great question, Raul. Yeah, great question. It's enjoyable. Yeah.
Of course I got good questions.
That's as you notice, those are definitely, higher quality shirts. The hats, I must have searched for this hat maker for a long time. Just finding somebody that was dedicated to making hats, because it's definitely, important to reflect the brand properly. I think it's necessary to represent the brand. I enjoy it. I enjoy, other people's swag. So I think it's important for me. It's important to, keep it consistent with the quality of your brand to represent it properly. Does that make sense?
And do you think the cost of putting out swag and stuff is worth it? Is worth the marketing it generates?
I do. I do personally. Yeah. I mean, I think it's something, to accompany the brand, and definitely for events to have swag. Over this next year, I'm going to focus on, I think, really special edition swag items. And I think it's worth it. I think the most important, of course, is the product and, how the quality of tobacco. That's the foundation, of course, of everything we do. But to me, the packaging is just a reflection of what the tobacco is. That's what it reflects for me personally. So from the bands to the boxes, it's all telling the story of the company, but most of all, the blend and the tobacco it represents.
Yeah.
That's pretty much verbatim what Saka said last week.
Oh, yeah, that's true. That's true.
Oh, man.
And you notice
it's true.
Your guys' level of craftsmanship, you can tell Who has that level of craftsmanship in their cigars, in their swag, in their boxes? Who pays attention to every little detail?
Yeah.
You can tell that company.
Yeah, you can see it in like in Nick with not only with the blends, which like you said, that's everything starts there first and foremost with the tobacco. So you can smell it and taste it in the blends. You can see it and feel it in the packaging. And then you can enjoy it and kind of vibe it and represent it with the swag that's not just like a t-shirt that literally you're going to wash once. It's going to shrink up to like a baby Gap size and you're going to have to throw it away. It's items that are made.
Yeah, man. I mean, these t-shirts this is quality t-shirt. I could buy t-shirts for probably half the price, or hats half the price. Most t-shirt companies sell hats too. I didn't like any of them, so I wanted to find somebody that made hats. That was what they did. And I loved, I have a big head, I got some hair drifting into the ether. But so I'm very picky about, everybody's picky about their hats. So, having the right one is important, but yeah, I mean, again, if you got to be careful, that you don't lose sight, but, it just becomes about the packaging, of course. But it always starts with the tobacco, of course. I mean, that's the root. So
speaking about tobacco, now having your own company, making all your own decisions.
Yeah.
What are the pros and cons to that compared to working for another company?
Oh boy, man. If we can keep this shot, I don't want to see myself in this response. Keep the shot. It's oh man, oh boy. Can you repeat the question?
Shit.
Well, so I'll repeat it for you if
Go
I
ahead.
could.
He puts it a little better sometimes.
So you were working,
having your own company than working with.
Yeah, the pros and cons of leading your own ship versus being a crewmate on another ship.
Leading your own ship is, I knew it was going to be a lot of work, but I totally underestimated the amount of work that it would be. I mean, at the end of the day, it all does come on your shoulders. So hence, having a good team is crucial. But you have a lot of responsibilities that you don't when you're working for someone else. I mean, I understand more my previous employers and the owners now than I ever did. Because you just don't have the responsibilities, the same responsibilities. I mean, you're the captain of the ship when you own a company, and you go down with the ship if you go down, and you ride it when you ride it. But at the end of the day, it kind of all falls on you.
What would you say is the most satisfying part of being an owner and a blender and having your own line?
What's the most satisfying?
Yeah.
The whole releasing the products to the shops is really exciting and satisfying. I would say to the completion of cigar smokers smoking and enjoying the creation of the blends and the whole product. I mean, that's definitely amazing.
Yeah.
Having people enjoy your cigar and telling you, texting you.
Yeah, man, because everybody's living their life. So everybody's going through life on so many levels, up times, down times, everything in between. And, to think that people, from good times to bad times, or take time out of their day to enjoy, one of your blends. And that was what it was created for but it comes from me, loving that process. Me working in the shop, then working in the factory, and going through that process. I mean, and just you hope that people will enjoy that, and will see what you're devoting your time to. I've devoted my life to this now,
right?
For many years. I mean, it's going on 22 years.
Yeah.
So That's really satisfying. The creation process is definitely satisfying for me, from the blend, and definitely having my own company to then, work with my awesome team in Nicaragua, my art director Alex in Nicaragua, and the creation process is amazing. The business part I do love also, but it's definitely, it's difficult. It's challenging.
I'm gonna let you give a couple questions. Well, I got a couple more.
I'm curious about because we all have these firsts, in our lives, and especially, running once Foundation started and you and your team got things off the ground, and the cigars started being made and decisions started being made and cigars started shipping, at the very beginning of Foundation Cigar Company. Yeah. And those first crates and boxes landed in the U.S. shops, and people started buying them and enjoying them. Can you recall that first time that either somebody had a direct conversation with you or sent you something on Facebook or Instagram that to thank you, saying, hey, this was my daughter was born, or I had my wedding, or whatever it may be, that first time somebody sort of reflectively thanked you for your product and how it enhanced a special day or event for them? Wow.
Yeah, a lot, man. I remember early on, just especially on Instagram, people posting. If you see our Instagram, guys, or our social media, I don't think people realize it sometimes, but it's all been built off of cigar smokers, and them posting cigars of Foundation. I mean, that's Foundation's IG is built on that. Yeah. So that's been very important, and I see a lot of it, and especially early on, responded to a lot of it, and a lot of the people didn't even know it was me responding a lot of times on the Foundation, because it was built out of my personal Nicaragua IG, and that's what we had. It was me and one other person, and we started out of a cabin on my parents' property here in Connecticut. And we started shipping the end of September 2015. And the first week shipments started going out, all of the credit cards started getting declined because the merchant account had dropped us because we were tobacco sales. That's first week of shipping. So that was, we got that remedied pretty quick. And then just from, two people, and, Wednesday for me was, I put everything I had experienced in the industry, up to that point into creating, this first blend and brand. Wednesday. And it was, it is my homage to Nicaragua, and having moved to this, this other country that became my second home. So I wanted to launch with that. Yeah. And fortunately, people responded.
Oh, big time. Yeah. And it's the gratification and I mean, there's
Hi, Allison. Sorry to cut you guys off.
No, there's just got to be so many great emotions that kind of flood in. And, as you reflect on thinking about, because I think about, people who make things. Yeah. And then the people who buy those things use them for something important, whether it's a mantelpiece, some woodworker makes a mantle over your fireplace, and that mantle is used for pictures of the most important people in your life. Or you make cigars, and people use those to celebrate the most important. In some cases, in some cases it's just a need to relax on a Tuesday night. In other cases, it's using those cigars to celebrate the most important moments of their life, and just the joy and the honor that comes with that sort of responsibility and all that. It's got to feel like $1 million.
Yeah, it does. It's very special, and for me, that builds up in my mind to have to do always better. And this
Yeah.
is where I can even drive myself crazy, is because to me, it's a responsibility, to hold up to. Um, and I'm trying to take the time to recognize that more and more as time goes on, because I get right into it, and you know, um, just keep going for the next level and excellence.
Yeah.
And to me, a lot of times, like, nothing's ever right, you know, Matt, Raul, like, a lot of time I see everything when I look at it, it should be better,
Oh yeah.
so I have that kind of, sometimes I got to reflect and enjoy things a little bit. I'm trying to,
No, I hear you.
when I get good gradings or have successes, it's to me, it takes even more to then, maintain and sustain
Yeah.
and drive to the next level. Um, Sorry
Eric,
for the
Eric
blabber.
V. No worries. That's what you're here for. Eric V had a
Yeah.
great question. How did Joe Rogan plugging you help your cigars out? Did it jump sales?
I mean, this man has just been incredible. Fortunately, two good friends of mine, made it happen. And, Joe, they got to Joe's hands. I tried to send cigars to Joe many, many years ago. Because as I was starting the company, I would listen to Joe a lot in the background. He ended up having a gentleman by the name of Graham Hancock on early on. I want to say 2012, 13-ish. And I kind of started listening to him around then because I had read a couple of Graham Hancock's books. One of his well-known books is called Fingerprints of the Gods, which is about ancient Egypt. And his first book was called The Sign and the Seal, which was about the Ark of the Covenant, in Ethiopia. So that was kind of the first time. And dude, I mean, this man is just, given so many thousands of millions of dollars of advertising. So to see him enjoy it, and I can't even describe it. It's surreal.
Yeah, it's his platform is massive. Obviously, he's got tons of followers. But I like the fact that when he talks, and he's talked about with a lot of guests over the years, he's talked about cigars. He'll offer guests a cigar, and the times that he has guests who choose to enjoy a cigar with him while they're doing their episode. There, and this could just be me reading into it, because being a cigar lover myself, but it just feels like the room is more relaxed and more honest when they each have a cigar fired up.
100%.
Yeah, and
it's a ritual. It's a modern day ritual.
Yeah,
You're partaking,
exactly.
and it brings you to the moment more. You're now, partaking in something, and it does have, effects on your mind and body. So you're, more relaxed. Yeah, it was interesting to see him start smoking, and then first, he was smoking our Wawense Maduro, and then I was seeing what he liked to drink, and also eat, and kind of flavor profiles. I knew he was a cigar smoker, but not, a regular cigar smoker at the time. This just took place just before COVID, I think, 2020, when he really started getting into them. And then I worked on blending him a broadleaf cigar, very similar to Tabernacle, but I wanted to make him something, that I knew would fit his kind of flavor profile. He likes peaty scotches. He likes, barbecue, spicy. So I knew broadleaf would be something that he could potentially really take a liking to. So, he definitely smokes, a lot of different cigars, but it's great to see him hand out, one of the JRE, Joe Rogan cigars. And I think when he realized they weren't just bands on a cigar, and he started learning a little bit about my background, it became even more special, that it wasn't just some sort of gimmick, because we don't do gimmicks over here at Foundation. But I think it's also interesting because, just listening to his podcast is, whether you agree with him all the time or not, it reminds me in a way of the cigar store and working I started at 18, to be able to meet so many different people from all walks of life and learn, different things from people. A lot of times the cigar shop became, almost in that way, work in the shop. You're kind of interviewing people or learning from people. And I think that's kind of what Joe's done, but he's been able to really invite incredible guests from all different fields.
Yeah.
And again, whether you agree with him or not, he seems honest in his pursuit for, truth and learning. And it's beyond an honor for him to be, see that box, on the table in the studio is just awesome. And I was able to get him a humidor, which is sitting in a couple of humidors, which is in the studio there to the left, if you see. And then I had Ellie Blue make a black humidor with his logo, kind of all done up. So it's awesome, man.
Well, and I agree with you about his show because, and that's one of the things that, we try to do it. How about that cigar also, and it goes in along with the whole burn cigars, not bridges thing is, if you go, because he's done thousands and thousands of shows. And if you go across all the shows, you'll find people from literally every walk of life, every political spectrum, people who are fighters, people who are scientists, people who are philosophers, politicians, news people, actors, musicians, and he just talks to them. He just gets them to open up. And there's something that I have kind of held on to and from I learned when I was younger is take time to have conversations with or read books that were written by or watch interviews of people that you completely disagree with about something. Take the time to do that, especially the reading books part, which took me a while to kind of get behind, where it's like, I'm going to read a book by somebody that I, sort of philosophically or whatever, really disagree with, and just read their book or listen to their audiobook or watch them getting interviewed by somebody. It just opens up your perspective a lot. And I think in the long run, I think that when you have a situation where all the people around that table, just like the cigar shop, just like you said, Nick, when all the people around that table are amicable to enjoying a cigar in the midst of the conversation, then it's, I'm not trying to get all metaphysical here, but I genuinely do believe there's something transcendent about it, that the cigar changes the conversation.
It's definitely metaphysical, Matt.
Yeah.
I think it knocks down that first layer of that first wall. It knocks down that first wall.
Yeah.
So you can get into it. We had somebody ask, are you ever going to do a Candela cigar?
Oh, there is one.
Candela, there is one. Yeah. There's one out there. It's not a regular production, but it's called the Grasshopper. We did that as a limited release with small batch cigars. And that was let's see now, 13 count. So it was 6 Maduro, 6 Candela, and 1 Barber Pole.
Yeah.
So currently, no, but maybe, in the future, if you can find a box of the Grasshoppers, find them, because those will never be produced as they are. So if you find them, definitely try them. In that project, that Candela is very dominant, right? So I tried to blend it in a way where it kind of balanced out the Candela in a way that I enjoyed. But maybe in the future.
Well, and along the same lines, just when it comes to different varietals of tobacco, because you've been doing this a long time and you've got a lot of experience with different types of tobacco, whether it's different varietals, or it's different, different growing regions in one country, or even different countries, but then, we learn every once in a while from different people about, this, oh my gosh, I got to sample this tobacco that was from Pakistan once. And I was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I'm actually smoking tobacco from Pakistan, and then other countries and even other states around the US. Have you had I know you've had the chance, but have any of these quote unquote unusual or not commonplace tobacco varietals that you've tried ever piqued your interest to say, if I can get enough of this on my hands, I'm gonna put out a blend with this?
One that sparks my interest that I have not worked with a lot is Peru.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, I haven't had enough time right now in the experience, trying it. But that's definitely an interesting one for me, just because Peru is the origin story of tobacco. So a friend of mine, that I've met recently is growing there, and I know there are some cigars out. But that's definitely one that sparks some interest. We are doing a lot of experimentation in Connecticut, which is great to see. Great to see a lot of farmers experimenting, because it's an important part of the process, especially for some place like Connecticut that faces a lot of challenges. And seed development is definitely crucial. So there's a lot of different varieties that I'm smoking up here that are definitely sparking my interest.
Yeah, that's got to be interesting with the seeds, developing different hybrids.
Yeah, such a short season up in Connecticut too. Kind of Minnesota.
And it's got to be frustrating in a way too, where especially for the farmers who, they work on a different, seed varietal or even a different, it could be a different method of priming or a different method of curing or something like that. And it's got to be tough, because sometimes, you take a long-term experiment, and in the end, you're like, okay, after it's all cured and fermented, and then we try it, we're like, yep, this sucks. This
that's it, right? That's what you're dealing with. You're dealing with that. You're dealing with that process. And in Connecticut, we're definitely have many challenges compared to the Caribbean in growing cigar tobaccos. But luckily over the years, we've had the experiment station here, which was developed by the Department of Agriculture in the 1800s. The actual first experiment station was in New Haven. Now I believe they're in Enfield area, and they work a lot with farmers. And you see a lot of farmers. I haven't seen as many farmers now experimenting and investing in the valley than I've seen probably in over 20 years or since I've started. So it's great to see barns going up, people growing different varieties, and people experimenting, because that's really what created the Connecticut River Valley, was through experimentation with different seeds. Was the development of Connecticut Shade. That's what led to the development of Connecticut Shade, was the experiment station in the Department of Agriculture here in Connecticut.
Yes, Brody, we see your questions. Sorry we can't get to you right away, but the shirt says "Burn Cigars, Not Bridges." It's our shirt. We gave it to him on PCA, and he rocks it on a regular basis.
And that's a moniker everybody should live by.
Yes.
Burn cigars, not bridges.
I got one more question about leaves and stuff.
Yeah.
There is one coming out of Spain. I forgot what the name of it was, but they use it in Macanudo, that new Macanudo that we love so much.
Oh, the España.
The España? Yeah. No, it's not that one. It's
Sancho Panza does have some Spanish tobacco in it too.
Okay, do you know where? I would love to see that. There was
the Macanudo had a new one this year called the Esperanza.
Is it from Catalonia? Do you know? From Spain, outside of Barcelona, that whole area?
I mean the tobacco, I don't know exactly where it comes from.
Because I spent some time there 20 years ago. and I was smoking some local cigars, and they were no cello. They were beautiful, and it was local Spanish tobacco. And I've always tried to get. I haven't been able to locate them since.
Yeah, this blend, we were really happy with.
Yes.
I don't know exactly.
So it's called Esperanza. That's a great name.
I've actually got it.
I almost named my daughter Esperanza.
It's a beautiful name. But yeah, when I first smoked it, I'm like, wow, this is different. It threw me off for a second. I'm like, I don't know if I like it. Then
I wonder if it's a burley tobacco, which they don't typically use in cigars.
Okay, sorry. Yeah, it's called the
Emissary.
It's called the Emissary España.
Emissary España. Okay, I'll look it up. Some Macanudo?
Yeah, you should try it.
Yeah. Dude, our office is on one of the original Connecticut shade farms that grew the wrapper from Macanudo when they used shade. Macanudo, Hyde Park. This is like 95, 96. And all came from where our office is on Foster Farms. Then they used a San Andreas, Mexico binder on that original Macanudo. I talk about them often. They were uncelloed. Macanudo used to come uncelloed. The shade from the valley. Those cigars were incredible.
It was one of my first 5 or 10 cigars back in '96. Was the Macanudo
was it? Hyde Park?
Uncellowed.
Yeah. Hyde Park I used to buy by the box.
Oh, yeah. Just
and the Duke of Windsors. Windsors, the Bellicosos.
Yeah.
Yeah. I used to buy Partagas Naturales from the box too. They were Cameroon, uncellowed, just oily and like toothy.
But
delicious.
Then I really got into bolder blends, back in like the
what?
Late 90s. Well, like
we're gonna nerd out here for a second.
What was the Tony Berhani was making the
come on, Bahia Gold, Bahia Maduro.
Yeah, that's
dude,
like what that was like.
Don Douglas.
Gold. Yeah,
Don Douglas was making those in Costa Rica. That dude is a beast, dude.
Yeah,
that guy was making some of the fucking. Can we swear in the show?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
He was fucking making some of the best cigars, man. Those were some of my favorites. But we had a little falling out with them one day.
Yeah.
They had yeah. All right. I'll keep that for off air. Go ahead, Raul.
Eric V brought up where
Eric V.
You want to bring his up? The second one right there. That's where it's from.
Grown near Rio Lobos, which is located in Caceres.
Yeah. Interesting. Caceres. I don't know her.
That's what I love about our viewers.
I know our viewers.
Our viewers are money.
They're Googling shit while we're talking.
They're money
and coming up with the. We love you guys.
Thank you, Eric David.
Caceres rain. Okay.
So
I'll check it out.
How about that cigar is going to give away a little something tonight?
So, we have this beautiful Foundation Cigars perfect cutter, and we have this gorgeous black and gold Foundation Cigars ashtray, ceramic ashtray.
Beautiful.
And that is also going to include a 5-pack of mix and match. We're going to mix together. Don't know if it's going to be 3 and 2 of which, but of the Wise Man Corojo and the Wise Man Maduro.
Well, that's the Toro. Is that the Toro or the double?
No,
I can't
that's
tell.
the double Corona.
Man,
yeah,
that's a tasty morsel.
To one lucky winner this evening, and let's get the entries started. So I want, if you're on Facebook or YouTube, I want you to go into the comments and I want you to type hashtag. What should the hold on. What should the hashtag?
Foundation Cigars.
There you go. Hashtag Foundation Cigars. And you will get an entry to win that. So just go in the comments on Facebook or YouTube, hashtag Foundation Cigars.
And of course,
how about IG? No IG? Oh no, we're not on IG. Okay.
Well, we are on IG, but we can't see IG.
Yeah.
And also, actually, if you're watching on Rumble right now,
Rumble,
come over because we can't see see your comments either. So if you're on Rumble and you want to be entered to win, real quick, pop over to YouTube, put in a comment
or Facebook,
and put in a comment hashtag Foundation Cigars, and you'll be entered.
And also, since it's a season of giving, we're not going to announce a winner until Friday. Give guys a couple more that watch it later on or listen to it later on.
Yeah.
Right? Fair enough?
Yeah. Yeah. So you'll be able to comment after the fact. If you're not able to watch live tonight, then and we'll repost this a couple times throughout the week. But if you're not able to watch live tonight, you can still go in, leave a comment on YouTube or Facebook, hashtag Foundation Cigars, and you will get an entry.
So Friday you're going to do?
Friday, I will. I'll put all the names in. I'll put all the names into a spreadsheet on Friday, and I'll use the little online wheel of fortune thing that you can put all your stuff into and spin the wheel, and
we'll announce it next Monday.
We'll announce it next Monday on the show.
Excellent.
So
can I still throw something in on that one?
Absolutely.
No. Well, hold on.
Can I
hold on.
Raul's like, wait.
Raul, calmate, hombre.
Hold on. Are we really?
Can I throw in a Foundation pyramid sign? Did I get you guys one of those?
We got a Foundation pyramid sign.
All right. I'll throw in one of those. That one's for you guys.
Oh, thank you, brother. So yeah, let's show that off.
You guys send that one, and I'll send you another one.
Awesome. So yeah,
unless you can wait for mine.
That's
real tin.
This is real metal. This isn't plastic.
That's real. That's not plastic.
Sometimes you get these signs, and I
know. I wanted to get that old school tin.
This is real metal, and it's got all the lines from Foundation right there at the bottom. Beautiful, as always. The Foundation artwork is freaking gorgeous. So, this, in addition to the 5-pack of cigars, this sign, the Foundation Cigars Perfect Cutter, and a beautiful black and gold Foundation Cigars ceramic.
I was going to say, though, do we really want to give that ashtray away? That's pretty nice.
I'll send you an ashtray too. I'll send you an ashtray. I got you.
Definitely going in with the prize pack for one of our lucky viewers.
I got you, Raul. I got
you. Vetoed. He's the boss. I got vetoed.
I got you.
Well, my problem is I've got, from an ashtray perspective, it's like I can't. I love swag. I'm with you, Nick. I love swag. I really do. But it's like if I get too much more, I'm gonna have to buy a storage unit.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Well, you've been in the
business too much.
He's been in the business a lot longer than we have.
That's true.
So
yeah,
I don't have that shit stacked up like you do, boss. So
Matt, you got to share the wealth, Matt.
He does.
I do.
He's been generous since I've been on the show, but before he won't
Come
let me
on, Raul. Come on, man.
His closets, his humidors. All right.
Come on now.
By the way, our friend David said he hates me because I said we're going to go till Friday.
Yeah, they're upset in the comments.
All good things to those who wait.
Oh, wow, Jay.
Oh, a New York Jets Foundation Cigars ashtray. Oh, no. There will be
Jay's going off.
Jay's going off. Don't have a foundation.
Jay's going hard.
Yeah, the Jets could really use a foundation.
Yes, they could use a foundation. Oh,
gotta have positive mental attitude.
Mm-hmm.
So Nick,
I
want to turn to a Christmas question. So, all families have at least, well, not all, but there are just so many families around the world, especially us here in the United States, who have, traditional gatherings, that are traditional for each of us as a family. Every family's got their own traditions when they get together for Christmas. And I'm curious, I want to know from you, what is a tradition that your family does for Christmas that a lot of other families in the U.S. would consider unusual? And now this could be a food that you serve that's part of the meal, or it could be some other type of tradition that you do during Christmas that's maybe outside of the American Norman Rockwell,
Let me start off by saying this. My name is Nicholas. That is there's a reason for that. And my parents are Christmas fanatics. They love Christmas, especially my father. And my father, I think, had a rough time when he was young because his father's father passed away around Christmas. So my grandfather didn't like Christmas too much, which then turned my father into a great Christmas lover. So there would be real blue spruce Christmas trees in almost every room in the house. So that's somewhat unusual. And my parents had an ornament collection that was pretty impressive. So Christmas is a serious thing in my family. Christmas Eve is definitely very somewhat traditional Italian, seven fishes, definitely, on the 24th. And then the 25th is usually turkey or ham. But then there's a lot of, dishes, that my family has made that comes along with broccoli casserole is definitely, that's a staple. But there's always a lot of food. But broccoli Christmas trees, a lot. Yeah, that's delicious. But Christmas trees are very important. So I don't know many people that would have a Christmas tree in every room. I would say that's unusual.
Yeah, I've never heard of that before. And we have for the first time ever this year, we have 2 Christmas trees in the house. So we got a big tall tree in the main room, and then upstairs we have a loft that's usually a space for like the kids to play video games or family movie night or whatever, but there's a corner that's enough space, and my wife set up a second Christmas tree. So this is the first time ever that we've had 2 Christmas trees in the house. And
I'll give you a sneak peek.
What's
you want
that?
A sneak peek of one of the Christmas trees? Let me see if I can get up here. There we go.
Oh, that's
beautiful.
Gorgeous. Holy cow.
That's one of them. I think they have 2 others now, but they're smaller ones. But
I love it.
And a lot of ornament collections that, they've been collecting, all their life. But
yeah, we're lucky too, because we've got a lot of ornaments that were passed down from grandparents and things like that.
Yeah, special.
And we still have on our tree in here. I don't even really know the story behind it. I just know that it's from like the early 1900s. It's nice. A glass ornament that's it's like a young boy with a little Christmas hat on, kind of turning his eyes to the side like he's looking for, presents or looking for Santa Claus or whatever it may be. And it's really worn because it's so, it's probably 100 years old.
My parents had a whole Christmas tree dedicated to those type of ornaments when I was young.
Nice.
So they were all glass ornaments from the early 1900s. Yeah. That was the tree we couldn't go by. And then there was, we had a Christmas tree in our room, but that's where we would have, our ornaments that we got for gifts and, handmade ornaments and things like that. And it was always, and they start decorating, my father's counting down Christmas in July,
I start listening to Christmas music in October. I'm one of those weird. I start listening to Christmas music in October.
Yeah. And don't get me started on National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. I can start reciting it.
I fucking love that movie. I fucking love that movie so much.
I remember seeing that in the theaters.
Yeah, me too.
With my brother and just having laughing our asses off.
So real quick, David Floyd commented Christmas pickle. Now we do that in our household where we have this plastic ornament that looks like a pickle, and we hide it way deep in the tree somewhere. So on Christmas morning, when the kids get up, they all get to like search through the tree, and whichever kid finds that Christmas pickle ornament, they get to open the first gift.
Interesting.
Might have to do that for the grandkids.
It's fun.
I was always, we used to have Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. I think my great-grandfather had given it to me as a gift when I was born.
Yeah.
And they used to say every Christmas as I got older, when we would, we'd wake up at 5 a.m. and rush down to the Christmas tree, I would bypass all the presents and just go right to Rudolph and start riding around on Rudolph. Rudolph was my man.
Quick Christmas movie question.
Oh,
Is
boy.
Die Hard a Christmas movie or not?
Is what?
Die Hard. Right? That's the name of it, right?
Yeah, Die Hard's a Christmas movie.
All
Yeah.
right. Some people say it's not. Some people say
I don't know. It took place around Christmas, didn't it?
Mhm.
They were at a Christmas party for work.
It was Christmas Eve when it took place, and Christmas is mentioned. Like I want to say, because I saw some people debating this online. I'm pretty sure Christmas is mentioned like 20 times during the movie, and the closing credit. This is the big one for me. When the action of the movie ends and the closing credits start rolling, it's a Christmas music that's playing on the closing credits. To me, that's a Christmas movie.
Yeah. Why? Why not?
Yeah. There was a debate. There was a huge
Oliver says no. Oliver, I respect the people who say no, it's not a Christmas movie.
David, what's up?
So
yeah.
It's
I mean, what other Christmas movies you got? I mean, Elf, they play it nonstop. Four Christmases. Wonderful Life is a classic.
Oh, it's one of the best.
Got to watch that.
I mean, that movie is unbelievable.
White Christmas.
Oh man, that's a classic.
Now there's one that I'll actually, ironically enough, my wife and I just watched this movie again last night. It's not a traditional Christmas movie. It's called The Family Stone. And if you haven't watched it, it's available to stream on Amazon Prime.
Not Nicolas Cage, no.
No, it's Rachel McAdams and Craig T. Nelson and Dermot Mulroney and the girl who was in My So-Called Life. I don't remember her name right now. But anyway, it's
Christmas.
It's called The Family Stone.
Family Stone.
And it's it's a tearjerker, but it's funny. And
I saw that one with Nicolas Cage recently. You ever see that one?
Snake Eyes, is it?
No.
Snake Eyes or
no, it's the Christmas movie where he's like some big corporate exec.
Oh, I love that movie.
And then he
loses everything.
He loses everything, but gets his sweetheart.
Yeah,
it's like an alternative universe he's living in there.
It's sort of like A Christmas Carol, but not really.
Yeah,
kind of. Yeah,
like he gets to see what his life would have been like. What the hell? If somebody knows, put it in the comments. Whatever that Nicolas Cage.
It's not Con Air. Thank you.
It's not Con Air.
It's not Con Air or Snake Eyes.
Put the bunny in the box.
I remember watching Snake Eyes in the movie theater. It was. I remember it being so bad it was good.
Yeah,
that is one of those.
Isn't that most of Nicolas Cage's movies?
Oh man, I can get into those national treasures, for entertainment purposes.
Our kids love National Treasure.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Yeah,
it's like an Indiana Jones.
David Crawford, Matt likes chick flick Christmas movies. Yeah, I do.
Hallmark movies.
I do. There's
Hallmark. There's a time and place for Hallmark Christmas.
There's another one called The Holiday. And it's
Family Guy. That's the one with Nicolas Cage that you were thinking about.
Family Man. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. So another chick flick Christmas movie that I unapologetically love is called The Holiday. It's Jack Black.
Yeah.
Cameron Diaz, and Kate Winslet. It's awesome. There's nothing.
I can't say I haven't seen that in maybe a long time.
Jack Black's got a new Christmas movie coming out.
Jack Black.
Yeah, did I see that one? Is he like yeah, I saw that one. I saw that one actually. I'm a Jack Black fan. Certain movies. Year One, that's one of my favorite. That Nacho Libre. Oh my god.
Oh, Nacho Libre is unbeatable. Yeah. That's so funny.
I mean, He's got some good stuff.
Yeah.
He's a nut.
And then, of course, Chevy Chase in Christmas Vacation, one of the best movies of all time.
One of the best of all times, man.
Highly quotable. I'm with you. We could sit down as a family and watch that movie and literally would turn the sound.
He works really hard, Grandpa. So do washing machines. Like, where do you get? That's an amazing line.
Oh, just every line. Fix the new.
I wouldn't do that, Clark. He's got a lip fungus that can't be identified yet. Oh my God, his eyes aren't crossed. Gets kicked by a mule, eyes go cross. Falls in the ditch, eyes go back. I don't know. Got the older one preparing for the what's that?
Oh, he's just yakking on a bone.
He'll get it up. There you go.
Cousin Eddie.
Hey, Grizz, if you're not doing anything constructive, go in the living room and get my stogie. You couldn't hear a dump truck going through a nitroglycerin plant. It's like a funny squeaky noise.
Oh, God, I love it. Oh.
Did the room clear yet? Is your house on fire, Clark?
They want you to say grace.
Did the room clear yet?
Grace, she died 30 years ago.
I mean, there's so many good lines in that one. It's
he was
a big burly man. His plates were from Kansas.
Big bulging burly man. Oh
man.
All right.
Yes, sir.
This is one that we've asked to a few cigar makers recently. I'm curious about for you. How much time do you think you spend on a weekly basis smoking cigars just for pleasure? You're not blending. You're not checking on this or that or the other thing.
Rough.
You're just smoking for pleasure.
That's why this is nice, because I can smoke a cigar, enjoy it. Smoking for pleasure. I think for the first time in a long time on Friday, afternoon, 4:35, I had a gentleman over that built out our office, and a couple of the guys on the farm, and we sat and had a cigar. So that was the first time in a while. But, a lot of times it's not just happening for pleasure like that during the week. It's at work. So, at our office, and I'm sampling. I'm always, checking batches that are coming in, projects that are being worked on. So it's tough because I don't even get to, try other people's cigars a lot and try different things, because I'm always, on top of quality control and, making sure everything's where it's supposed to be.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense.
So it's few and far between. That's why I enjoy, doing these shows, when I can, and talking with you guys, because it's nice to, we're still talking shop, but it's after hours, and I get to relax a little bit, have a drink, and smoke.
Yeah, so, you're not on the clock.
Yeah, I mean, it's and the day, the days go by. There's not many hours.
That's right.
In the day, so
great viewer question. YouTube, the Cigar Collective, best pizza in Connecticut.
Yeah, highly debated topic here in Connecticut. My whole family's from Little Italy in Connecticut. It could go. I'm off pizza now.
Okay.
I've been to rehab 3 times for pizza. It's I don't want to be on my fourth.
One day at a time. Stay strong.
I have no control with it. But one that before I kind of stopped was a place called Fuoco, which is actually north of New Haven in Cheshire, Connecticut. A good friend of mine called George Constanti, who's from a Greek family. We went to high school, and his family's been in pizza forever. And I remember George, when he wasn't in school, he was working at the pizza shop in high school. And he has 2 brothers. They both have pizza shops. And George opened Fuoco and with a coal oven.
Yeah.
Which is very different from, gas or wood ovens. And that's what really New Haven, Connecticut is famous for, because you have these two places, Pepe's and Sally's, that have been here from the late, 1920s, early 30s. And they use coal as the heat source, which is a whole art within itself, but also adds this amazing char to the pizza in a whole nother depth and flavor profile. And this really sets it apart. Of course, the dough and then the sauce and the ingredients that they're using, but also this amazing coal oven. So Fuoco has definitely been on my top, which Fuoco means fire in Italian. But that's definitely been one of my top pizzas. And then I can go Sally's or Pepe's. I can go in and out. Typically, my family was always a Sally's pizza, and my family, my father was close with Sal Consiglio was the original owners and their family. So that was always my father wouldn't go a lot because Sal passed away, but his wife Flo, would never let my father pay for pizza. So my father never wanted to take advantage of it too much, but we were always, as kids wanting to go.
Well, as far as I know, there's only one place, like we're in the sort of the Minneapolis, St. Paul, Twin Cities area. And I think, and if anybody locals in the comments that knows, pop it in the comments, but I think the only place in the Twin Cities area that has a coal fire pizza oven is Vittoriano's in Stillwater. And their pizza is insanely good.
Yeah.
And I think that if anybody who's one of our local viewers knows a different place that also has a coal oven, let me know, because I want to, my son and I, my youngest son, Eli, he and I love to go find pizza spots. Minnesota, no disrespect, but there's not a lot of great pizza places in Minnesota. So you really have to find the places who are people that are typically transplants from the East Coast, who really know the history and have, pizza sauce in their blood, really. And there are some of those places in the Twin Cities area. Vittoriano's in Stillwater is really outstanding. Yeah,
there used to be a harbor. Yeah, go ahead, Matt.
Yeah, so Daniel, I think Black Sheep uses wood fire ovens, but their pizza is still really outstanding. Their pizza is still very, very good. Their meatball pizza, I absolutely go berserk for. It's so good.
Four Corners is pretty good too.
Yeah, some of the places that make the Sicilian or Detroit style pizza, that's the thick crust that has the really, really crunchy corners where they got all that cheese that kind of caramelizes into the corners. Oh gosh,
you said it right the first time. It's just Sicilian. I don't give a shit what anybody
Sicilian
says.
Yeah,
it's never going to be Detroit pizza.
I mean, Detroit is like sauce on top, which is a little odd. I don't dislike Detroit style pizza. It's just strange to me.
See, I like that thin crust pizza.
Yeah, me too. I like the thin, a New York slice that you can just fold up, but I have no problem every once in a while having a slice of like Giordano's from Chicago or having a piece
of
pizza. But if I was forced to choose, it's like you can only have one type of pizza for the rest of your life. I'm choosing that New York slice, period.
I wouldn't argue with that.
Yeah.
I no arguments here.
Yeah.
Black Sheep is cool.
Keep it away from me.
Oh, Black Sheep.
Black Sheep. Where's Black Sheep?
Downtown Minneapolis.
Do they have more than one location? I feel like they have more than one location.
All I know is,
but it's a local pizza place, and it's absolutely. So Nick, if you ever make it up to Minnesota, come in the summer. First of all, don't come in the winter. But there's some great food spots. Honestly, the food scene in this area, there's a lot of great food spots and a lot of great cigar shops, great people. So we'd be more than thrilled to take you on a tour of the area.
I have to get to. I don't know if I've ever been to Minnesota.
Oh, there's a lot of great food.
Holy
great people.
Christmas!
We gotta resolve that for you, brother.
Yeah.
We'll take you
I
on.
do need to make a Minnesota. I need to make an Idaho trip too.
Hey, there you go. I haven't been to Idaho since
And
like
a South
2017.
Dakota trip.
Ooh, South Dakota.
Yeah, unless you're
Not in the winter.
I only go to South Dakota to go pheasant hunting.
Yeah, that's the only time I go to South Dakota.
We got some pheasant hunting in Connecticut here.
Yeah, there's some great spots in South Dakota for that, definitely.
Southwest Minnesota too.
Yeah.
Couple good ones.
Yeah. Do you think it's time?
Yeah, maybe.
Are you sure? I mean,
No,
I don't want
I'm
to.
not. I want to ask him about.
Do it. Jump in, brother.
Come on, Raul, hit me.
I want to ask you where you got your inspiration for making pretty much all your cigars Rastafarian, right? It's got a Rastafarian background foundation.
Yeah, man. You know what we say? We all come to the same conclusion.
How'd that get on your radar? How did
Yeah, it's quite interesting, right? Is it bizarre in a way, Raul? I'm asking you. It's a little bizarre, right? Yeah.
No, it's unique. That's why
it's
unique.
I like that. It's unique and bizarre. It really coincided with my kind of love for cigars. 96, I started working in the shop. I also started listening to Marley that year. And, I started listening to Bob Marley's words and I was like, what is he talking about? I didn't quite understand. And then a couple of random things happened. I was reading the Bible in university in English class. The professor had us reading it as literature, not as a religious text. And I remember specifically it talking about the Garden of Eden and the 4 rivers of Eden being, the physical location of the Garden of Eden. And it mentions the Tigris and Euphrates and also 2 other rivers, the Gihon and the Fihon, which flew through the land of Ethiopia. Thought it was interesting. And then I randomly met someone in the cigar store that had a National Geographic that was all about Homo sapiens coming from the Rift Valley, which was Ethiopia. So it was really bizarre to me that science, and then you had this religious text that was pointing to this same area. And then also Bob Marley was also talking about the kings of Ethiopia and the queens of Ethiopia. I knew nothing about Ethiopia. I grew up in the 80s. We knew about Ethiopia was starvation.
Yeah.
And then I started learning about this history that goes back to the dawn of humanity. And it just totally changed my whole perspective on everything, really. From that point on, I started seeing things as not disconnected, but everything really intricately connected. And that just started this love for really just learning about this history, this ancient history. And it's just grown ever since.
I like it.
Well, and we've talked about this before, but I love the fact that there is, because everything's connected in some way, shape, or form, but there is actually a deep connection between the Ethiopian culture,
Orthodox Church, yeah,
and even tying in, as strange as it sounds, to tying into Nicaragua, and it's incredible because you look at all the, I don't know, all the whether it's archaeology, history, theology, and like you said, when you look at the location of the rivers mentioned in the biblical texts, and then you look at where a lot of scholars say this is literally where people first came from. It's in the same spot. I don't, not to get, I promise I'm not getting, into religiosity here, but there's just something where we're all connected.
Oh, yeah.
period.
All roads lead to Ethiopia. I mean, all of the roads. The bone evidence, you find all the bones, hominid bones, Homo sapien bones. They're all in the Rift Valley, right?
Yeah.
And then this was confirmed again by the Genome Project, which National Geographic also launched, which was the study of your mitochondrial DNA, so your mother's DNA. So they were able to take all, different countries, tribes, everyone, and trace their mother's DNA back to one female in the Rift Valley, in this area of the world. And it's really, we have a lot of evidence of a common ancestry, and it's pretty much not ever talked about. And our knowledge of kind of that area of the world is not really talked about in school or discussed. So I find it interesting that, we have this common ancestry and such a rich history of all the major religions in Ethiopia that go back, to the beginning of time, and yet it's really not talked about. And mainly we know about is starvation. Live Aid, We Are the World, they had great intentions in the 80s of raising money for the famines that happened, but it really branded the country in a way to be known for this kind of poverty, which is fascinating because you have this rich lineage of kings and queens that go back to Solomon and Sheba. So the knowledge of that just totally impacted me at a young age, and I just never stopped, learning.
Why do you think they don't teach us that?
It's a great question, man. Yeah. It's a great question.
It's a really
good question. It's the ultimate divide. Especially not knowing. There's a quote from, I think it's Marcus Garvey, people without a true knowledge of their history is like a tree without roots.
Yeah.
And that's the beginning of our really history as mankind. And then it spread from there. But to me, it's why don't we know that is the question. It's a big question.
Well, and we tend to focus on, on near history instead of ancient history. And because, if you look at the entire history of humanity, of the entire history of human beings, it's a long history. And there were so many varied things that happened in the course of human history. And, we just focus on, like Nick, you said it really well, that even today, there are a lot of people who, when they think of Ethiopia, they just think of that famine that really was just a blip on the very ancient radar of Ethiopia. Ethiopia is not a famine-stricken country. It was, unfortunately, for a number of years in the late 70s and into the 80s, but that really was just a blip on a long...
There's certain areas that are prone to famine in the countries over over the history, but it's interesting because my grandparents knew who the last emperor of Ethiopia was, which is Haile Selassie, who is on the Tabernacle Band. He was born with the name Tafari McKinnon. Ross is a title almost like Duke or, Prince. So he was given that title, Rastafari. But when he was crowned, he was given the name Haile Selassie, which means power of the Holy Trinity. My grandparents knew of Selassie, and most of the generations before the 80s knew of Haile Selassie because he was very close to, some of the U.S. presidents, especially John F. Kennedy. His anniversary of his passing was in November, and Haile Selassie was in DC in October of 63. And his coronation in 1930 was the first time that it was really, news was being broadcast. When you would go to see a movie, the coronation of Haile Selassie was all across the United States in 1930. So it was the first time that really people in the West started learning about him. And then he was one of the first to resist the fascist campaign in the 30s and early 40s. So it's interesting to see what, my grandparents knowing about it, but then our generation, had a whole different image, which is crazy.
Yeah.
But
and there you can still find, because since I've gotten to know you, I've become fascinated by all that. So you can still find footage on YouTube, of
what?
Of Haile Selassie and
man.
Whether it was coronation or his visits to different dignitaries around the world and things like that. There's still footage galore of him
big time
on YouTube.
Yeah. And I got quite the collection.
Yeah, it's really fascinating.
Yeah, I mean, it's an amazing part. You can kind of see this glimpse of this old world, especially the early photos, his coronation photos. National Geographic was there to film and take photos of the coronation in November 2nd, 1930. You had heads of state from all over the place that came to the coronation. And then Selassie was the first one to kind of build these bridges internationally. They were the only, I think at the time, African country to sign the League of Nations. He was part of the League of Nations to abolish slavery. And then the League abandoned him in 1936. He was the first to address the League of Nations when Italy, invaded in 1935, I believe. So he was really the ultimate bridge builder, Matt, now that you say it. I mean, he was an incredible diplomat and understood the importance of building relationships internationally. But this also existed in Ethiopia for many, thousands of years. People don't realize the Aksumite Empire, which was 2,000 years ago, was part of the Silk Road with Rome. So we know about the Aksumite Empire through a lot of its coins, and one of the first Christian coins in the, I think, 3rd century. So this was an international trade route. The world has always kind of been international. People don't realize it sometimes, and now it's just information is traveling really fast. But sorry, I'm getting off on a rant, but
it's all good, bro.
You have kind of this really fascinating, almost Game of Thrones, history in Ethiopia of kings and queens and royal houses that go back, to that time. And it's fascinating to me. I kind of get lost in, that's kind of my separation for me from work is, I geeking out on, history books, and I'm kind of surrounded here by a lot of history books and whatnot. I really enjoy the stories. I recently helped repatriate a shield to Ethiopia from 1868 from a famous battle called the Battle of Magdala. There was a shield that came to auction in Newcastle in February of last year. This is a very controversial battle because the British came into Ethiopia in 1868, and then they returned with a lot of objects to the British Museum. They actually had the head of the British Museum came in 1868 on the campaign. And I can go off on that, but I helped repatriate a shield back to Ethiopia last month in November. Which was really amazing.
Eric, this is nowhere close to a Coop length show tonight.
Yeah,
how long is Coop?
Coop usually about 4 hours.
I'm right on.
So before we get into the next segment, I have to ask, and I assume there's something in the works, but you mentioned origins of Foundation Cigars, 2015, coming up on a 10-year anniversary in 2025. So I'm guessing there's something that you've been working on for a while for a 10th anniversary celebration.
Matt, yeah, you're very astute. You're very astute. Yeah. Got something in the works. Most likely you'll see the introduction at the trade show in April. Most likely, we wouldn't start shipping into our true 10-year anniversary is the fall. So 2025 fall. So most likely you'll see kind of an intro at the show and, the release kind of late summer, fall time.
Nice.
Possibly something sooner, but yeah, you might see a few other treats too.
Right on. I know you guys. I know you're always working on, the new hotness.
I got something special in the works. Something.
Love it.
It's a nice special size and special box and a little special packaging and
46 ring gauge. All I'm saying. 46.
You like 46?
That's all I'm saying.
I'm working on some smaller ring gauge stuff too. I just haven't gotten to completing it, but I can smoke a 46. I even like 44.
I always joke.
Excuse me, a little short. Yeah. Sorry.
I always joke. I say that 46 is God's favorite ring gauge.
That's hilarious. Listen, you know what? 40s. I smoke a lot of the Tabernacle 142 Coronas.
Mm-hmm.
That cigar's unbelievable. That's one of my favorite. I got a lot of favorites though, but that for a small Corona size.
Oh, sure, yeah.
Even the Tabernacle broadleaf. That's I tend to. If you see my lines, I do typically that Corona.
Yep.
Corona Gorda, classic Robusto, Toro. We do the double Corona, some 6x60s. It's really interesting. The market is geared a lot towards, these gigantic ring gauges.
Oh, yeah. Got to give the people what they want, though.
You do. But Corona is always, I like the traditional sizes.
Yeah.
I'm a traditional kind of guy.
Same.
Yeah. Yep.
Have you tried the Pasquale and the Charter Oak Pegnataro, the special edition Charter Oaks?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I have not.
Yeah.
This is the broadleaf one. This is
the Pasquale I've tried. The Dignataro I haven't.
Yeah, Pegnataro is a Connecticut shade, but it's got some some oomph to it.
Yeah, I know I have a couple from the trade show that you were generous enough to give to us. I just have not had the time to smoke it yet. There's too many. There's not enough hours in the day.
Yeah,
there really isn't.
Seriously,
there really isn't.
All the cigars I want to enjoy.
So I think it is. I think it's time.
You think it's time?
I think it's time.
All right, guys. It is now time for this week's Numero de los Muertos. And Numero de los Muertos brought to us by our friends at Smoke Inn. All right. Numero de los Muertos, episode 271. So I'm going back to a trend we did for a while. So the number this week is 1.
Loved ones.
This is another one of those where it's just one person unfortunately died from this very strange cause of death. And it's up to Nick and Raul and our viewers to guess why this unfortunate soul passed on.
Wait, what are we doing?
You've been through this before, brother.
Remind me, refresh my memory.
So Numero de los Muertos is typically, I'll give a number like 300 or 6,000 or whatever. And you along with the viewers get to play 20 questions to try to break down and decipher what the cause of death was, why, for these number of people. But, there's only so much, info out there in the world. So sometimes I break it down just to a single number where there's just this one weird thing that happened that, this caused this person to unfortunately just, pass on to the next.
I love Kelly's.
Died from overeating pizza. No, Allison, that's not it. But what a way to go. Smoking and excessive.
We got to ask questions here.
Yeah. So you can ask questions, just like general questions like land or sea or is it work related, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And
Raul, you go first.
Alcohol related.
Alcohol is not related.
Land or sea?
Land.
Is it in the United States or will this be worldwide?
Canada.
Oh shit.
So we have to guess what this person died of.
Yeah. Death by being struck by an ashtray. Nope. Andrew.
Self-inflicted or not?
Not self-inflicted. Well, not unintentionally self-inflicted, I guess. But yeah.
Killed by mating mooses.
Old woman run over by a reindeer. Nope. Animals are not involved.
Oh.
Is it from eating something?
It's not from eating.
Ice fishing accidents are a lot more than one.
No, it's not from a recreational activity or a sporting activity.
Not from curling. All right.
Death from maple syrup. No, I think we did maple syrup.
Getting ran over by
maple syrup.
Yeah.
Canada.
Grandma got run over by a reindeer walking home from our house Christmas Eve.
Don't you keep singing that song? We're gonna get.
Come on, Raul. You got to help me out here.
It's Canada. There's so much things that can go wrong in Canada.
Kelly, firearms are not involved.
Was it a sickness?
David Floyd, I need you to define for me what is priapism or priapism. I have no idea what that is.
That's above my.
That's what happens when you get hit by something in an accident and you
Killed up by a Canadian goose. No, animals are not involved.
And you wind up paralyzed. Priapism is your last hard on.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Whoa. All right. So
that's by saying sorry.
A question earlier was, is it land or sea? Now I will clarify, it's land, but water is involved.
So is it
lake?
It's not frozen water. No, because we did ice fishing or falling through the ice last week. But water is involved, but it is on
water skiing.
No.
Drinking too much water.
No, this was I'll break it down even further. This was a river.
Piranhas.
And the victim drowned. The victim drowned, but there was a very particular reason she was in the river.
Oh, she was doing that. You walk in for some charity and
no.
What do they call it?
The
polar plunging.
Plunge, yeah.
No. It wasn't going over the falls.
Tubing.
No, not tubing.
Was it summer or winter?
I assume summer based on the notes in the post.
She wasn't tubing down the river.
No.
Washing in the river?
No.
Lightning.
No, that's a good get. No, it was not lightning. All right, so I'm gonna I'm going to read this post here. In 2012,
this is a real event.
A real event. So a major part of wedding bliss is the photo shoot in your wedding dress. Canadian Maria Pantazopoulos wanted more
Irish
of herself in her dress in the trash the dress tradition, which is a common request for the recently wed. She found the perfect spot for the shoot, but unfortunately, during the photo session, Maria's dress soaked up too much water from the river, and she was unable to climb out. After failing to be lifted out by the photographer and assistant, Maria was pulled under and swept away. She was later found after having drowned about 2 hours later.
That's horrible.
So
that's absolutely horrible, Matt.
When you go, don't do a photo shoot. Wow. You can do a photo shoot near the river for your wedding, but don't do a photo shoot in the river.
She should have.
She should have had a skirt on.
She had an easy out for that wedding dress.
Yeah.
So
that was one of the weirdest ones I think we've ever had on the show.
Weird. Yeah, that's pretty weird.
Yeah.
I would have never guessed that.
I never even heard of trash to dress.
I've never heard of that either. It must be a Canadian thing.
Usually you save it for your daughter or somebody.
Yeah, my wife still has her wedding dress. I don't know if our daughter's ever going to wear it or not. I hope so someday, but who knows? So that was this week's Numero de los Muertos. All right, let's jump into the lightning round brought to us by J.C. Newman Cigar Company, America's oldest family-owned premium cigar maker, creators of the popular Brick House, Perla Del Mar, Diamond Crown, and The American. J.C. Newman Cigar Company operates out of their 113-year-old El Reloj Cigar Factory in historic Cigar City, Tampa, Florida. For more information on their cigars or visitor experience, please visit jcnewman.com.
Well, before we go into that.
Oh, that's right. I forgot. Yeah, I bounced right over the Spirit of Mystery
and
reveal.
Also, we should probably tell them how to win this wonderful thing again.
Oh, yeah. If you guys are just now joining us on Facebook or YouTube, jump in the comments and leave the comment hashtag Foundation Cigars, and you will be entered to win a beautiful Foundation Cigars Perfect Cutter, a fantastic Foundation Cigars ceramic black and gold ashtray, a lovely 5-pack of Foundation cigars, and this wonderful metal Foundation Cigars sign. So hashtag Foundation Cigars in the comments.
We didn't even bring this up at all.
We'll bring that up after a lightning round.
All right.
There we go. All right. So Nick, you've been on the show a few times. You've had quite a few of our classic lightning round questions.
Oh boy.
But we have some new ones kind of in the magazine ready to go. So
I don't know how lightning I'm going to be on this.
Because I wasn't on the show last time he was on the show.
We haven't done that one.
Yes.
So let's start with that one actually.
So Nick, what is your most overrated fast food franchise and your most underrated fast food franchise?
Overrated fast food franchise. I'm going to say Taco Bell right now.
Okay.
Overrated.
I can get with that.
I remember Taco Bell. I mean, I used to eat a lot of Taco Bell back in the day. I feel like the quality's going down a bit.
Yeah.
They stopped using kangaroo.
Big change. That's a big change.
And what's your most underrated?
Underrated fast food?
Yeah.
Man, I haven't eaten fast food. I mean, I don't know if Whataburger's underrated, but I was taking a Whataburger over there in Texas.
Pretty good.
Are they rated high? I mean, you ever have Whataburger?
I haven't. No, I never have.
Oh, it's unbelievable. I don't know where they're at. They're not on the East Coast. I don't see them in the Northeast.
I've heard really good things about it.
They were unbelievable.
All right. So, Nick,
what are you guys doing eating fast food?
Oh, I'm a pig. I'm an absolute pig.
I got to stay away from the fries.
For us around here, it's Culver's or Jersey Mike's.
Yep.
Jersey Mike's. I had Jersey Mike's for the first time, I want to say in the summer.
It's not bad. Not bad.
Good.
One of the better sandwich places out there.
Yeah.
Yeah. In-N-Out's good.
I haven't had In-N-Out in a while.
Nope.
It's I'll say I don't dislike In-N-Out. I'll say I was underwhelmed by it because it was built up to me so much. Yeah. Like before I went to In-N-Out, it was actually Emmett from Blind Man's Pluff, and I was like, Emmett's like, we're in Vegas, we're gonna take it In-N-Out. I was like, awesome, and the whole way in the Uber, he's just like, this is gonna be the best burger you've ever had in your life.
Yeah, that's.
And I get there, I'm like, oh yeah, it's pretty. It's pretty good. It's
expectations. It's right. You got to downplay it.
You know what's climbing up my fast food rankings?
Dave's Hot Chicken.
No, I don't like that place.
Really?
Yeah, I don't like it.
Okay.
Freddy's. It's kind of like Culver's, but I think it's better.
Oh yeah. I still haven't tried it.
Oh yeah, it's good stuff.
I got to get there.
I might go tomorrow.
All right. So Nick, if you were suddenly given your own late night talk show,
yes.
Saludos. Who would your first celebrity guest be if you had your own late night talk show?
Late night talk show?
Yeah.
Oh man, who would I have?
Who would you want your first celebrity guest to be?
I'd have Rogan on there if I could get him. He doesn't like late night talk shows, but I'd have to get Joe on there.
Because isn't he up like working out at 4 every morning or something like that? And I think
that guy's an animal. He's a beast. But I mean, I think he created his show is to be an alternative to late night, talk shows and TV and long format. So, but yeah.
What are the ingredients on your perfect sandwich?
Perfect sandwich.
Yeah.
Oh man, I have to have fresh mozzarella, some nice tomatoes, little bit of basil, some gabagool, a little bit of gabagool, and then it's all about the nice fresh bread, but just with that olive oil, a little salt and pepper. I think I'm straight.
Oh, dude, you're killing me. God,
I love that. I love that fresh moods too,
Oh, I want to go get
that's my jam. Fresh tomato. You got to get the right tomatoes though that have, that it just don't taste like nothing, but
the
fresh tomatoes.
The grocery store tomatoes taste like cardboard.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah. Good friend of mine, he's a farmer. He's a tomato snob. He doesn't, he doesn't even get tomatoes on sandwiches at some of these places because, they're inferior tomatoes.
I don't blame him one bit. Not one bit.
Eric's right. It does sound a little bit like a pizza.
It sounds fantastic.
Little red sauce.
I'll take it. All right, let's jump into this week's Notable Smokable, brought to us by Don Doroteo Cigars, a brand with both purpose and passion, dedicated to creating change from within. By developing their own land, they're able to own the entire process throughout the life cycle of the plant. They methodically carry out each step, ensuring that the final product is of the finest quality. The new Salt of the Earth lines, Piedra Viva and Piedra Angular, are available now at Don Doroteo Retail Partners. Visit dondoroteo.com to learn more. All right.
Hold on.
Geez. I keep like driving right past the exit for this week's Spirit of Mystery reveal. Sorry about that, guys. So Spirit of Mystery, I will say reveal. Did your wife send you a message? Yes, okay. I like it a lot. I do believe that it's got some kind of flavoring added in some way, whether it's added after the fact, whether it's a barrel or something, but it really does have a strong kind of not strong, I shouldn't say. It's got an essence of maple to it. But I feel like it's a rum that was maybe finished in casks because you can buy barrel aged maple syrup now.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like this maybe is a rum that was put in a cask that used to have maple syrup in it, but I could be wrong about that. It's not like off-putting, because some of the flavored spirits sometimes are just not good. But this one is really pleasant.
And you've had it before.
I've had this before?
Yes.
I don't. Okay. Well, I like it, whatever it is.
It is another one of those Kirkland brands from Costco.
Is this really a Costco?
It is, excuse me, and I was wrong. It wasn't a 9-year. It was a 15-year aged.
Whoa.
You've had that before.
I have had this, and this is not flavored rum. So this is a Panamanian rum, aged 15 years. I got to say, whatever they're doing, it really is so present with that maple on the nose. And the fact that it's not actually flavored in some way is kind of miraculous to me. But the flavor is really good, and it's not too sweet. It's actually barely sweet at all. But yeah, that's another win for Kirkland. I mean, the Kirkland stuff, don't sleep on it. It's low cost. So if you want some good quality spirits, the stuff from Costco is actually, it's pretty legit, guys, and it'll save you a lot of money. So yeah, that's a nice, gosh, even smell that. That's maple syrup, like all day. Holy cow. Yeah, that's good stuff, man. All right, now we can go to Notable Smokables, brought to us by Don Doroteo Cigars. So Nick, you've been on the show before. During Notable Smokables, we name a cigar that we've smoked recently that was notable to us. Now, this could be a cigar that's been on the market for a really long time that we smoked for the first time in a very long time, or a cigar that's brand new that we smoked for the first time. Obviously, you're smoking mostly your own stuff, but if there's something you were able to smoke recently from outside of your brand portfolio, is there something that stood out to you?
Anything?
Yeah, anything at all.
So I haven't smoked a lot of different cigars. I did light up I hate to say it, but I lit up a Cuban.
Oh, nothing like that.
It was a Ramona Lones short Bellicoso.
Yeah.
And I had it sitting in my humidor for a while, and it caught my attention on Friday. And I have to say, it was one of the better Cubans that I've smoked in a long, long time.
Yeah.
And I want to say it was a 2018 or 19 special edition. I think my one of my colleagues from Australia had given it to me.
Oh yeah.
Some year at the 2019 trade show. And I was actually, it was definitely, I think, one of the best Cubans I've had in a long time.
Awesome.
I love it. Had some nice body strength. Nice dark wrapper.
I love it.
That was good. Yeah. That was
okay.
That was a good one I smoked.
Nice.
Raleigh, what about you? What's a notable for you this week?
So lately, whoever we're gonna have on the show, that Thursday before I start smoking their brands. So I was amazed. Well, not amazed, but I forgot how good the Highclere Castle was. The Connecticut one, and I'm not a huge fan of Connecticut's, but I smoked it at the. Oops, that almost slipped out. I smoked it the other day, and it was phenomenal.
Connecticut, yeah. I smoked one couple last week. That Shade, we're actually, I think, sold out of the Shade Toros right now. Because those, but the Churchill Victorian I had last week, my whole office has been smoking those because that's a sleeper. It was like just complete. But yeah, the Highclere, the Victorian, and so the Connecticut Shade is the Edwardian. To me, one of the the better Connecticut's in my book. Of course, I worked on it, but it's got some. It's not just like you're smoking air. It kind of reminds me of those older kind of Macanudos, and it's got some strength to it. It's got this Brazilian Matafina binder, which is one of my favorite tobaccos. So I always tell guys, have you smoked a Claro with a Connecticut shade with a Maduro wrapper before, because the Connecticut shade is kind of masking this darker Brazilian Matafina tobacco that's holding this blend together. And to me, it really completes it. And then the Victorian, we've released the annual release of the Highclere Castle Signature, which is our homage to the discovery of King Tut. Which is a special blend. But the Victorian Highclere has some similarities to the Signature. So it's deeper, richer. It's got more body and strength.
Oh yeah,
but that's a sleeper.
Yeah. What was yours?
My notable was so a couple years ago there was an event at one of the local shops. It was a My Father cigar event, and My Father does those 3-packs of the special, and I got one of those 3-packs at the event, and it wasn't super long. It was like 2 years ago.
Sodies. We had it at Sodies.
Yeah. And so I smoked one of those over the weekend, and it's a nice My Father. So for the smokers out there who have tried some My Father stuff and it's just too bold and powerful for you, if you get a chance to go to a My Father Cigars event and you can get some of those My Father special 3-packs, that one is a really balanced My Father cigar. It's a great mix of spice, strength, and natural tobacco sweetness. And it's not overpowering. It's nice, like medium plus blend. And so if you guys get a chance to try one of those, definitely do, because I think it's a nice cigar.
Yeah. And
I hadn't had one in quite a while. All right. We got, I want you to ask about that
question. How's the Upsetters doing? How's that line doing?
Have you smoked one?
Not in a long time.
Upsetters, it does well for us because it's different from all of our other blends. So it's hitting a consumer I think we don't often talk to in our world, because we're in this world of cigars. But for someone that doesn't smoke cigars as often, is not as accustomed to tobacco. Tobacco is a powerful plant. So the Upsetters is definitely more for, someone that wants a more aromatic, lighter blend. So we do really well with it. For me, it was important, early on to develop a portfolio. If you look at the whole portfolio, my whole take was coming from a perspective of working a cigar shop. And if you only had Foundation on the shelf, do you have a blend for every customer walking through that door?
Right.
So you see that within the portfolio, even from the blends to also the price points, right? You have Charter Oak, you have Highclere as that high end, Charter Oak as that everyday. It was important for me to have an infused cigar in that portfolio for the people that love infused cigars.
Yeah.
And I think it's different.
The last one I smoked was the Django.
Yeah. Oh, you did smoke one?
Yeah. It's been a couple of years.
Well, and the thing that I've mentioned before that I really appreciate about the Upsetters versus some other infused products is that the sweetness level is dialed down. It's more about the aromatics and the aromas than it is about the sweetness on the tongue. There's a little sweetness there, but that's not the focus. That's not the star of the show.
That was the idea, was to really balance the actual tobacco. That's all grade A, long filler tobacco, except for the small. We make a smaller 4x32 and a 10-pack called the Ska. Those are short filler, but the rest of them are all long filler. So it's interesting also just to see where the Upsetters does well compared to, different stores, especially like cigar bars, and they do really well there.
Yeah.
We have a place here, one of the oldest shops in Connecticut, the Owl Shop, which is in New Haven. It's one of the oldest tobacconists the oldest in Connecticut, but they also, have an amazing bourbon selection, and it's a cigar bar. And they fly through them,
Yeah. Nice.
they fly through them.
So that's the end of my questions on camera. I have some more afterwards, but
I like this.
All right, let's get into coming attractions brought to us by Hoagland Insurance. At Hoagland Insurance, they are excited to serve and educate any new customers and give existing customers a refresher. Whether it's a business policy, auto insurance, home policy, or life insurance, if you are currently insured or just looking for a quote, Tony Hoagland and his team would love to create a personal price plan just for you. Mention How About That Cigar when you make your first appointment, and Tony will have a free cigar just for you. For more information, please call 763-421-4900 or visit champlaininsurance.com. All right. So next week is the last show of 2024, and that is our year in review show. So that box hanging on the wall right there behind me, that box hanging on the wall, we're going to do, as we do every year, we're going to take that box off the wall, open it up, and look at all the beautiful cigar bands and talk about the stuff we smoked this past year, talk about some of the bigger events in the world of premium cigars from 2024, and just say thank you to all of our wonderful viewers and listeners. Nick, first of all, before we close out episode 271, thank you, brother, so much for being on the show again.
Guys, thanks for having me. It's always good talking shop.
Yes, sir. And if you would please give our viewers and listeners an idea, where is the best place for them to keep up with everything going on with Foundation Cigar Company?
Instagram, we're big on Instagram. Definitely also Facebook, but you can always visit foundationcigars.com. We got a great store locator on there. You can find the closest shop, and sign up for our newsletter.
Nice.
Foundationcigars.com.
Love it. Thank you so much, brother. Appreciate you being on.
My pleasure, guys. Wishing you all the best for the holidays.
You as well. All right, viewers and listeners, thank you so much for being the best part of How About That Cigar Live. So grateful for having you guys with us, as always, on these wonderful Monday nights. If you would please click on all of those big, beautiful buttons, the like button, the subscribe button, the follow button. And if you're listening after the fact on the audio podcast, guys, thank you so much for listening to us when you drive down the road, when you work out, whatever it is you do when you listen to your favorite audio podcast. Thanks for making us a part of it. If you have questions for us, you can email us on the website, howaboutthatcigar.com. Be sure to follow us on all of your favorite social media platforms. You will find us at HBT Cigar.
And tune in Monday to see who wins this wonderful prize.
And tune in Monday for our year in review show and to see who wins this wonderful prize. And don't forget, keep commenting, hashtag Foundation Cigars for your chance to win. And of course, as always, guys, until we see you next time, burn cigars,
not bridges.
Thanks, guys. Any comments, opinions, viewpoints, or statements presented or uttered by guests on the HBTC podcast, HBTC live video streams, and all other media from HBT Media LLC are solely those of the individual and do not necessarily represent the opinions or viewpoints of How About That Cigar or its parent company, HBT Media LLC, any of our advertising partners, or the premium cigar industry. The primary purpose of How About That Cigar is to entertain and to encourage activity and growth within the community of people who enjoy or want to learn about the enjoyment of premium cigars.